Let me think. Yes. Tonight, I'm sorry that I have to start over again, but I think Teams is not working properly. Tonight, I'm gonna work with countable and uncountable nouns. So we're going to learn how to identify a countable versus an uncountable noun and use determiners some, any, a, and an in countable and uncountable nouns. So let's start. So let's start. Um, okay. Countable nouns are countable because I can count them. It means puedo contarlos. Parece, it seems a little logical or redundant, but it's necessary. For example, I have 3 oranges, 2 oranges. I have, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 2 types of countable. Singular, for example, a potato. I can use a or an, for example, a potato, an apple, or one potato. And plural, I have to add s to the noun. We worked on the use of plurals or how to change singular to plural nouns in our first level. If you need information regarding that, you may ask me and I can share that lesson. Okay? Then, uncountable are things that I can count. I need to measure them in order to know how much I have. For example, I can tell about drinks or liquids. For example, water, soda, beer, milk, um, and a liquid. Well, any liquid you remember. Juice, wine, um, also grains. For example, salt, sugar, sand, flour, uh, rice, lentils, things that are so small that I can count them easily. And it's better for me to measure them. For example, I don't say, I need 1,000 grains of sugar. I need a pound of sugar or a kilo of sugar. Another thing that I can count are, for example, the semi-solids like cakes, ice cream, like pizza, like bread. Those are things that I have to measure or come divided the dough is divided, so I can easily say, you don't say, give me 200 grams of bread. You said, can I have a loaf of bread, a loaf of 3,000, 3,000 pesos, please? Okay. Now, taking into account the purple word, I need you to tell me if that word is related, no, is a countable or uncountable noun. Let's see. We love to read books. As it is plural, it is countable. Now, please pause the salt. Salt is a countable or an uncountable noun? Sorry, Ramon. Salt is uncountable. I need to measure it. Then we need some chairs. The word chairs refers to the plural of chair. Is that a countable or an uncountable noun? Chairs refer to countable nouns. Todo lo que sea plural, everything that is plural is countable. Desde que sea plural, ya usted sabe que es contable. Okay? Now, we have singular countable and plural countable. And what is the relationship we have between them? Is that first, we have to take into account, for example, I use a or an to talk about singular contables. Por ejemplo, un mango, un huevo. A mango, an egg. Okay. Some, I use some for the nouns that are countable, but I don't wanna mention the number. I just wanna make sure that the quantity exists. For example, there is, hay algo de mango, algunos huevos. I don't wanna tell how many, but I just wanna say that there are. Okay, there is some sugar and some bread. I can also use some for uncountable, taking into account that some has to be used in singular because I haven't got any idea of what is the amount. But I have to mention that I have that product. For example, there is some sugar, hay algo de azúcar. He has some bread, él tiene algo de pan. Okay. Let's see if we could understand. Do I use a, an, or some for this? There is a banana, an banana, or some banana. There is a banana. The next one. There is ice cream in the fridge. There is some, there is a, or there is an. The right word is some. Okay. The next one. I need water to wash my hands. I need a, an, or some. That would be some water. Now, if I want to use, I want to talk about an uncertain quantity of something, I have to use some. For example, I would like some juice. But if I am sure about the amount of um, of the product I want to mention or the noun, and if that noun is uncountable, I have to use a countable noun to make it countable. For example, I would like a glass. I cannot count the use. I have to measure the use, but I do count the glasses. I can say one glass, two glasses, three glasses. Now, I use some in affirmative sentences to establish that there is, or I have the product that I mentioned. For example, there is some money. I use any to refer to negative or interrogative sentences. For example, is there any money? Pregunto si hay dinero. Is there any money? And the answer is, for example, in this case, no, there isn't any money. No hay nada de dinero. Now, let's see if we understood. In this sentence, what can we use? I need some or any money. The answer is some. There is some or any cheese. The answer is there is some cheese. There aren't horses in the field. There aren't any horses in the field. Now, we have to use how much and how many. When do we use them? I use how much for uncountable nouns in order to get to know the amount of something, the quantity of something that is uncountable. The meaning of how much and how many for both is cuantos. But how much is for uncountable and how many for countable? Now, let's see. In this example, how many cars are there? How many cars are there? There are 6 cars. Now, how much or how many sugar is there? The right answer is how much sugar is there? The answer is there are 3 spoons of sugar. Now, how much or how many pictures are there? How many pictures? How many pictures are there? There are 6 pictures. How much milk is there? ¿Cuánta leche hay? The answer is there are 2 boxes of milk. Hay 2 cajas de leche. There are 2 boxes of milk. Now, let's complete with some more any. There isn't sugar in my coffee. As it is a negative sentence and I have an uncountable noun, the answer is any. The second, there are oranges in the fridge. As it is affirmative and we are talking about a plural countable noun, it should be plural. There aren't tomatoes on the table. As it is negative, and I am talking about a plural countable, it is some. If it would be singular, I would use a or an. There is oil in the kitchen. I am talking about a uncountable noun, so it is some. Then I have, there is orange juice. I am also referring in an affirmative sentence to an uncountable noun. So it is some. Okay? So remember to study for the test and let's practice. Let's have some practice. So we can finish. Okay. Let's complete with the right quantifier. So I always get up early and have breakfast at 7:30. I usually have some cold milk and egg. I am referring to one egg. So the answer would be an egg with a on some any bread. As I don't have the exact amount, I could say some, and a bowl of yogurt. At school, I have lunch with my friend at 12:30. I usually have a and some or any. It would be some juice, enormous sandwich, would be an enormous sandwich. Crisps, it will be some crisps, and healthy snack. And a healthy snack like apple, like an apple, here a pear, or grapes. I'm talking about a plural noun, so it would be some grapes, I think. I never have nuts because I can't eat them. So I never have any nuts. At home, dinner is usually at 6:30. We have a lot of different things. For example, we often have meat with rice. Say some meat with rice and vegetables. On Fridays, we always have pizza each. I am referring to one big pizza. So another way to say one is a big pizza. That's my favorite drink day. I always drink some water with every meal. We never have any fizzy drinks at home. Ninguna bebida gaseosa. My daughter hates sodas, and that's something good for me. Now, we're going to finish with the last activity, and we are going to put this.
Before we begin, it is important to know what countable nouns and uncountable nouns are. Basically, nouns that you count, such as trees or books, these are countable. One book 2 books, you can count books. So book is a countable noun. Nouns that you cannot count, such as rain or love, these are known as uncountable nouns. You cannot say 1 rain or 2 rains. So the word rain is an uncountable noun. See our video about countable and uncountable nouns for more details and examples. Before singular countable nouns, we can use a or an, which are both indefinite articles. A is used when the next word starts with a consonant sound. A book, a dog, a house, a university. The start of the word university sounds like U, a consonant sound. An is used when the next word starts with a vowel sound. An apple, an egg, an orange, an hour. The letter H in this word is silent, so it sounds like it starts with a vowel. For more information, see our video about the difference between a and an in English. Let's look at the summary chart. It is divided into singular countable nouns, plural countable nouns, and uncountable nouns. I will explain each part in a moment. I have a flower. Flower is a singular countable noun. It is an affirmative sentence. And we use a because the word flower starts with a consonant sound. I have a flower. The next one, I have 2 flowers. Flowers is a plural countable noun. Since flower is a countable noun, we can use a number before it. I have 2 flowers. But if we don't know the exact number, we can say, I have some flowers. I do not specify the quantity, or maybe I don't know the exact quantity. So I use the word some. I have some flowers. Some is used because flowers is a plural countable noun, and this is an affirmative sentence. But what happens if the sentence is negative? We say, I don't have any flowers. Why do we use any? Because flowers is a plural countable noun, but it is also in a negative sentence. So we say, I don't have any flowers. Some and any are used to refer to an indefinite quantity of something. Let's look at some more examples. Remember, some is for affirmative sentences and any is for negative sentences. I need some new shoes. We use some because shoes is a plural countable noun and it is an affirmative sentence. What would the negative be? I don't need any new shoes. Any is used because it is a negative sentence. She wants some grapes. Some because it is an affirmative sentence. What would be the opposite of this sentence? She doesn't want any grapes. Any is used because it is a negative sentence. Until now, we have only seen countable nouns. With uncountable nouns, we also use some or any. The same rules apply. some for affirmative sentences and any for negative sentences. Milk is an uncountable noun. We need some milk. We use some because we don't specify an amount and it is an affirmative sentence. How can we make this a negative sentence? We don't need any milk. Now look at this example. We need a bottle of milk. Why don't we use some here? We use a because we're counting bottles and not milk. We are specifying the number of bottles, in this case, 1. We use some with plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Some more examples with uncountable nouns. I'd like some sugar, please. You can't count sugar. Sugar is an uncountable noun. You can count teaspoons of sugar, but there you are counting the teaspoons and not the sugar. Though sometimes you may hear people say, I'll have 3 sugars in my coffee, please. But that is because they are still referring to the teaspoon of sugar and not the sugar itself. How about a negative sentence? I don't want any sugar, thanks. Sugar is uncountable, and we use any because it is a negative sentence. Another example, help is uncountable. So we say, he needs some help, which is an affirmative sentence. The negative would be, he doesn't need any help. Now we need to look at questions. We normally use a and an with singular countable nouns and any before plural countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Let's look at the following examples. Did you have an accident? We use an because accident is a singular countable noun. Do you have any questions? We use any because the word questions is a plural countable noun. Does he need any help? We use any because help is an uncountable noun. So, as we have seen, we normally use any with questions. However, there are 3 main exceptions. When we offer something, when we ask for something, and when we suggest something. Here we use some instead of any. Let's look at some examples. Would you like some cake? Here I am offering cake. When we offer something, we use some. Notice how I'm not specifying the amount of cake that I'm offering. Can I have some cake, please? I'm asking for some cake, so we use some in the question instead of any. Why don't we buy some cake? Here we use some because I'm making a suggestion. You can use some and any in a sentence without a noun after it if its meaning is clear or obvious. I didn't eat any chocolate, but Peter ate some. What does some mean here? Some at the end of this sentence means some chocolate. We don't write or say the word chocolate again to avoid repetition. I took lots of photos, but Emma didn't take any. What does any refer to? Any at the end of this sentence means any photos. Why did we use any instead of some? Because it says Emma didn't take, which is negative, and we use any with negative sentences. I bought some grapes. Would you like some? Some at the end when we offer something, when we ask for something, and when we suggest something. Here we use some instead of any. Let's look at some examples. Would you like some cake? Here I am offering cake. When we offer something, we use some. Notice how I am not specifying the amount of cake that I am offering. Can I have some cake, please? I'm asking for some cake, so we use some in the question instead of any. Why don't we buy some cake? Here we use some because I'm making a suggestion. You can use some and any in a sentence without a noun after it if its meaning is clear or obvious. I didn't eat any chocolate, but Peter ate some. What does some mean here? Some at the end of this sentence means some chocolate. We don't write or say the word chocolate again to avoid repetition. I took lots of photos, but Emma didn't take any. What does any refer to? Any at the end of this sentence means any photos. Why did we use any instead of some? Because it says Emma didn't take, which is negative, and we use any with negative sentences. I bought some grapes. Would you like some? Some at the end of this question means some grapes. It is a question, but why did we use some instead of any? It is because we are offering something. It is a question that offers something. You are offering grapes. Let's practice. Complete the following dialogue using a, and, some, or any. Pause this video so that you have time to complete this exercise. When you are ready, click play again to hear the answers. Let's make a fruit salad. Good idea. What do we need? We need an apple, a pear, and some oranges. We need some grapes too. I don't want any grapes in it. I hate them. Do we have any strawberries in the fridge? No, we don't. We need to buy some. We don't need to add any sugar to it.
Okay, that's it. Because I didn't have anyone to pay attention to me, so excuse me. So okay, what I have to tell you tonight before we finish our class is to remind you that tomorrow, not today, We started with the second unit, our second learning activity. So we have to practice the second formative component, and we also have to check um, what is done for us, and we have to check how to develop the second activity, which is the form. Please complete the form, write as many words as possible, because you're supposed to write 400 words, and some of you are writing less than 100. And please upload your post and comment 2 posts from different people. See you on Monday. I hope to see someone on Monday, and have a good week. Bye.